Good morning, all the participants. I welcome Dr. P. Sitaramamurthy sir, Associate Professor, Department of IT, Vishnu Institute of Technology, Bhimavaram. Welcome, sir. Sir is going to deliver a topic on Blue Prism Robotic Process Automation.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. So first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Dilip Kumar Reddy, coordinator of the workshop, Dr. P.S.N. Krishna Prasad, HOD, CSE, SV College of Engineering, Tirupati.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I would also like to thank the principal and management of SV College of Engineering for giving me this opportunity. So let us continue our discussion.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving the one more session for me, for our faculty participants, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dilip Kumar Garu. Thank you, sir. Okay, in the last session, we discussed about Process Studio. So we're trying to practice Blue Prism for creating some automatic tasks, robotic process automation. So in the last session, we have spent some time learning about Process Studio. Then we said that we are using Microsoft Excel VBO, Visual Basic Objects. There we said that these Visual Basic Objects will be created in Object Studio. Object Studio is also a part of Blue Prism, where we can create these Visual Basic Objects. These Visual Basic Objects are used to interact with the applications. For example, if I want to interact with Microsoft Excel, or if I want to interact with any other application like a calculator in the system, or any other Windows application or web-based application, then I need to develop a Visual Basic Object. So business objects are built in parallel section of the studio of the Blue Prism, also known as Object Studio. So both these are present. When I said studio, it has two things in it. One is Process Studio, and the second one is Object Studio. So now let's discuss about Object Studio. The purpose of a business object is to provide an interface to capture the functionality of an application. Why should I create a business object, or what is a business object? Then we are clearly telling that it is an interface for us such that we can capture the functionality of an application. It could be an application, Windows based application, or a web application, whatever the application you take. If you want to automate the working of a particular human who is working with that particular application, for example, how a person interacts with the email, or how a person interacts with a particular website, or how a person interacts with a particular application. So he will be doing the same functionality day in and day out. That functionality can be automated such that this robotic process automation, that is RPA, is going to, these bots, robotic process automation bots, are going to take care of those tasks. Okay, so to interact with any application, we should create Visual Basic Object, Visual Business Object. So business objects are never used on their own, but only as part of process solution, and can be thought of as a separate layer of a process. So once we create a business object, then we can use it as an action inside the Process Studio. So when we think about business objects and action stages, so what is an action stage? For example, if I just try to look at this example, what we have already done in the previous class, previous session. Open the Blue Prism. So there in the previous session, we have created this second session. When I open this process, you can see that when I look at this particular action, okay, this is start, that is a stage. When I look at this action stage, that is create instance, I'm trying to open the properties of this action, properties of this particular action. Then we can see this. I got two inputs. One is business object, where I have given MS Excel VBO, and second one is action. When I click this drop down, you can see number of actions here. Okay, so this is how we are going to interact with the particular application. To interact with the application, we need to create number of actions, and those actions can be used according to our requirement. So here we got number of actions. Here I am using create instance action to create an instance which is representing a particular Excel file. So that is what we did there. We need to create those actions. So here, when in our PPT, when I look at this point here, we're telling that the tasks within a business object, the task that we want to perform, the tasks within a business object are separated out into different pages known as actions. So in the business object, we are going to include number of actions, and each action is written as a separate page, which sit in a flat structure that is not built around any specific hierarchy. Okay, there is nothing like a hierarchy here. All these actions are equally placed inside a particular visual business object. Each action relates to a certain interaction with an application, and a process will use whichever of these actions it requires. For example, in the previous example, when I have seen, I'm using create instance action there. Whatever the action you want, we can simply make use of that action here. And action stages are helping us to interact with the application. That is a simple point we should remember, that whatever the application we take, web-based application or desktop application, to interact with the application through the bot, we require these action pages. Okay, so this particular action stage can also take an input and give an output. Okay, these are few things we should remember. We will do a small application now. Let's go to hands-on. Only things we will discuss in this particular hands-on is what is Object Studio, what are different elements that are available in Object Studio, how to create a particular visual basic object. Let us create one visual basic object in this particular session, and how to use it. Okay, so that is our agenda for this session. Okay, we are opening Blue Prism. In the Blue Prism, you can see I am going to the Control Studio. For example, from home, I am going to Studio. There we can see two kinds of studios. One is Process Studio. The second one is Object Studio. So as our discussion is about Object Studio, I'm just trying to create an object. Okay, I'm creating a group here. I'm calling it as FDP. And inside the FDP, let me create an object. So let me call it as calculator. Calculator 1, I am calling it as. So every time we need to give some description. This is just a practice session. We created this. Let me go to the Object Studio. This is the Object Studio. So let us try to compare this with the Process Studio, what we are already familiar with. When I go to Process Studio and open a particular process, any process here. So let us look at what are the different elements that are present in the Process Studio and what are the different elements that were present in the Object Studio. So they look almost similar. When we look at it, they look similar. Okay, but when we look at the different stages that were present in the Process Studio and different stages that are present in the Object Studio, you can observe that there are some new stages in this. For example, read, write, navigate, code, wait, all these are new stages which are not present in the Process Studio. Okay, and you can see there is something called application modeler. This is a very important thing in the Object Studio, which we require to design actions in the Object Studio. So now when we look at these tabs in Process Studio, we got only one main page, whereas here we got initialize, cleanup, and action. So we are not going to do anything with the initialize and cleanup. Let us go to the action page, where we can see that there is a start and end stages which are here. So to develop anything, we need to make use of the application modeler. Here I want to create an action to open a calculator and add some numbers. So for that, what I am doing is that, first of all, click the application modeler, where you are going to decide how to interact with the particular application. So using the application modeler, we are going to decide how we are going to interact with the particular application. Okay. So define a new application. I'm taking calculator 1. Next. So indicate what type of application you are using. Here we need to give or tell what is the type of application we are using. So we got different options there. You can see Windows application, Java based application, okay, browser based application. Whenever I want to access a particular website or something, web based applications, we go for browser based application. Okay, Internet Explorer, you can see browser based application for Internet Explorer, and this Blue Prism works very well on the Internet Explorer compared to Chrome or Edge and mainframe application. These are different applications. Because I'm using a Windows based application, I'm selecting this Windows application. Just go to next. So here we got two options. My application is launched from an executable file. So I want to open it from the executable file .exe file, or I just want to use it. Look at the second option. My application will already be running. I just want to attach an existing instance. For example, the application is already open and I want some action to take place. Then we will go for the second option. Okay. If I want to open the application which is not at all open by that time, which is already closed. Okay. I want to open it by myself. That is, the bot has to open it and it has to do the task. Then we will go for the first option. My application is launched from an executable file. Here I am going for the second option. From Windows 10, there was a little problem. That is, it is not easily, by Blue Prism is unable to attach to some applications. So it is also not attaching to calculator. There was a little problem. So I am using the second option instead of opening it from an exe file. Next. So enter the window title of the target application. Not at all required. Just simply press next. Enter the Windows process name and target application. Just for example, here, if not found for attaching, your application may be launched automatically if desired. So here I said that the application will be already open. Okay, if it is not open, then you can give the path to the exe file such that it will open by itself. So I am not giving any path there. Enter command line parameters. No, not required. Restrict to non-invasive automation techniques. Leave it to the default. Embedded next. Okay. If necessary, enter any options. Not required. Just say finish. So this is application modeler. Now you can see the application modeler is opening here. As I said that I want the application to be already open, I am opening this calculator here. Open the calculator app. Let us leave it like that. So here in the calculator, when I click on this, you can see that there is one element here. Element is nothing but any button or any interactive item on the interface in the application. For example, in this application, we got these many buttons. All these buttons are elements. Okay, I can add an element and match the element to particular button or something else. Okay, we will see how to match a particular element to a particular button. Here you can see the attach. So I opened this by myself. Okay, this is not opened by the Blue Prism. So Blue Prism has not attached to the calculator. Let us try to attach Blue Prism to the calculator. Just click the button here, attach. Okay, fail to launch application. At least one of the window title, process name or process ID must be specified. Okay. Let us go to the application modeler. I'm just giving the title. Let me try to attach. So you can see here it is written as identify. So identify means by clicking on this button, you can identify which button you want to attach to this particular element 1. So I want to attach something to the element 1. So what I'm doing is just click on identify. So you can see that using the identification tool window. So when I put my mouse on the calculator, the whole calculator is highlighted in the red color, and there is a red color outline there. And now if you click Alt, it will change the way of selection. Now when I click Alt, it is telling that using the identification tool, use Control plus left click to select the highlighted item. For example, if I want to select a particular button and call it as element 1, then I can simply click on this. Just hold Control and click 1. So what happens here is this element 1 has got attributes now. So when we look at the application modeler, on the left side, I can see calculator 1 has got one element, and that one element has got a lot of attributes here. Just click on the match. So in the name, in the second column, we got match here. Just click on the match such that we can see what are the different attributes that are matched to this button. Okay, you can see that these are different attributes that were matched here. Okay, UIA name 1, UIA item type, something like that, UIA control type button, UIA class name button, and UIA automation ID num1 button. Okay, these are different attributes that are matched to this. I'm just saying apply. Okay, I just want to change this name. Instead of element 1, I want to write it as button 1. Apply. So now button 1 is nothing but 1 on the calculator. Let me create another button. Just right click or say add element at the bottom. When I say click on element, another element is added. Call it as button 2. Okay, so there were no attributes here. To get the attributes, I need to match this button to a particular button on the particular application. This application is calculator application. So simply click on identify and just click Alt button to change the way of identifying. Now it is identifying a particular button, but when we see previously it is identifying the whole calculator. So again click Alt, it is identifying a button. Just Control click on the button. You can see the attributes were collected, and when we look at the attributes which were most appropriate by clicking on the match, you can see that again you got see UIA name TWO2 and UIA control type button num2 button. You can see all these things. Okay, I just want to take another button, so I'm clicking on add element, call it as plus or addition, giving the name as addition. Okay, so there were no attributes here. Click on identify, go to the calculator, press Alt to change the way of selecting it to identify tool, then Control click the plus button. I got this plus also here. Let me add another element, say apply, add another element, and this time assignment equals, I'm calling it as equals button. Okay, click identify, and then after clicking the Alt button, you can easily get this one. Okay, match, apply. Okay, by now what I did is that I was able to match the parameters of attributes of button 1, that is this 1, 2 is equal to 1 plus. 4 buttons were there which are already modeled in my particular object studio. So now let me try to run some application. Get a navigate button here, link navigate to start and end, and in the navigate, when I go inside, you can see it is asking the element, action, and something like that. Let me call button 1 here. Let the element with the button 1 and action. When we look at actions here, I will click on the button. Generally what we will do, we will click on the button. We will click, that is a mouse click. So here there were different options. You can see global mouse click is one particular action. Global mouse click center is another action. Okay, so if you are just saying global mouse click, then you need to give the coordinates where it has to click. So why to take all that trouble? Simply say global mouse click center, then automatically it clicks in the center of the button. So I'm taking this global mouse click center. Okay, input as button 1. Simply say okay. So what is this going to do? It will start navigate and click the button 1 and it will end. Let us try this if it is working or not. Are we?
Sir,
Yeah. Tell me. Yeah, excuse me. Any
No, sir, no problem. Please continue.
yeah, okay.
Uh, Sir, voice is slow. Please, can you raise your volume, sir?
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, is there any difference now?
Yes, sir. Now it is very good, sir.
Okay. Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. So I just clicked, changed the properties of the navigate. There I said that for button 1, go for mouse click center. So the button will be clicked in the center. Okay, simply say okay here. Let me see whether it is running or not. So that is whether the object studio is connected to the application what we have taken. That is a simple calculator that was connected or not. Every time try to reset and play. So we can see here there is one pressed here. Let me run it again. Just reset and click go. Again we are running it and we can see that this one is pressed twice. So we can see on the calculator there was 11, which means that it is working well. Okay. So let me create another action. This is action 1. I want to rename this. Just simply rename. I'm calling it as button 1. Okay. Just right click, create a new action, call it as button 2. Save okay. Again, I'm just getting this navigate button here. Double click on navigate. Now I'm bringing button 2 as element here. And in the actions, select global mouse click center. Okay. Connect every stage. Start to the navigate, navigate to the end. Let us try this. Run it. In the calculator, you can see this button is also clicked automatically. We got 112 here. If I run it again, it will be clicked again. Just every time reset it and run it. Okay. So that is also working. I am just creating another action. So we have seen that in VBO of Excel, there were number of actions: create instance, okay, open workbook, get to the collections, something like that. Okay, there were number of actions. In the same way here also, I am creating some actions. So it is quite easy to create an action. We can simply create a new action by selecting new here. In the new action, when I give the name, and I can arrange the stages as I want, and it will be saved as a new action. So now this particular calculator object, business object has got 1, 2, 3 actions. So we can create any number of actions we want. Okay. We will also see how we can use this from a process studio. After we complete these actions, let us open the process studio and use this from the process studio. So here what I'm doing is in the navigate 3, I'm asking it to click the plus button, addition button. So let us place the addition button as the element here. Yes, addition is the element. And every time global mouse click center, okay, simply say. So this will click addition button. Let us run just to check. You can see here 1122 plus, which means that it is working fine. Okay, I'm coming to button 2 again. Again, I'm running it. What will happen on the calculator? Let us see. 1122 plus 2. If I now click on is equal to, then it will give the result. So I'm creating new action. I'm calling it as assign. Take another navigate stage here and connect all the stages. going to the properties of the navigate stage. In the properties, just take the equals button. I want the equal button to be clicked and ask to click it. Click. Simply say OK. Reset. Then play. Let's see what is happening here. You can see that the expression is now 1122 plus 2 is equal to 1124. So this is how you create different actions in an object, particularly visual business object using Object Studio. So the same way of identifying the elements and connecting them to the Blue Prism works for every application. It is not simply for the calculator. You can take any Windows application. First of all, you need to clearly observe what are the different ways we interact with the application. Here, the ways we interact with the application is by using these buttons. So we are making use of those buttons, and we are capturing those buttons and connecting it to the Blue Prism using the application modeler. So application modeler plays a very important role here. So let me save this I got these different actions. And if I want to use this visual basic object in the Process Studio, I need to publish all the actions. Just right click here and select publish. So button 1 is published, publish button 2, edition, and also assignment. Okay. So I published everything. Once you publish all the actions, save the Object Studio file. That is calculator 1. I want to save it. Give some description. Calculator with 4 actions. I just gave a description like calculator with 4 actions and simply say save changes. Okay. So let me clear this and let me open the Process Studio now. Go to Blue Prism, open Process Studio. So in the Process Studio, in the ATAL-FDP, I am creating a new process. Create process. Calculator process we are calling. So next, the name you entered is already in use, so just be careful. I am giving calculator process 1. So is how to utilize the VBOs we created. I just want to utilize the VBO that I have created. Just now we created a VBO called calculator, and let us try to make use of that VBO here. Finish. Okay. So I'm going into this calculator process 1. So as usual, this is Process Studio is very familiar to us. We got the start and end stages which are already there in it. So let me take this action stage here. Okay. So we know that if you want to interact with a particular application, we should make use of the Visual Basic Object, and this Visual Basic Object has got number of actions in that. To make use of any action, we should certainly make use of the action stage here. Okay, I'm bringing the action stage here. This is and go to the properties of the action stage. And the action stage, we got 2 things. One is business object and the action. And the business object, I am selecting calculator. So this is the particular calculator we created. And in the actions, let us see if there is any action. This calculator 1. Let me see if there are any actions. We got 4 actions what we have created. One is button 1, button 2, assign and addition. So I'm calling button 1 here. Okay. So that is my first action. So it will click 1. So then I'm again taking another action. Go to the properties. This time again select this calculator 1. And this time I'm taking addition. Save OK. Let me get another action. So just for this simple addition, I want to take 2 numbers and add and find the result. I am taking 4 actions. Here I want to call the other number. So go to the calculator 1 in FDP. Button 2. is the action. So it will click the second button, say OK. And here I am calling it as choose the business object as calculator 1 and select assign, say OK. Well, let us connect all the action stages carefully. I connected all the stages there. Reset and try to run it. Failed to perform step 1, navigate stage, navigate 1 on page 1 not connected. Okay. So let us do one thing. This calculator is not connected to this stage. So let us go to the calculator, process studio, open object studio, and let us try to create another action to attach the calculator to the blue prism. In this I am creating a new action, call it as attach. Okay. Let me take the navigator, put it there. The navigate properties, I'm taking the calculator as the element. Instead of a button, I'm taking the calculator 1 as the element and ask it to attach. Okay. Because calculator is already open. Only thing what I want to do is that I need to attach the calculator to the blue prism such that whatever we do in the blue prism reflects in the calculator. I said okay, connect all these links. So all the 3 stages were connected. So start, attach the calculator and then end, simply speaking. That is what we are doing in the attach. Okay. So let me publish it. It is published, save. Every time we need to give some summary. Attach action is added. Save changes. Now we added the attach action page. Let us go to the process studio again. So here what we are doing is, let us add another action here. Take another action. Go to the properties. Now let us try to attach the calculator to this. Go to calculator 1. Take this attach. So you can see this previously, there are only 4 action stages here. One is addition, assign, button 1, button 2. Now attach has also come here. So every time you create a new action stage, the points you should remember is that you should publish it and then you should save the file such that you can make use of the new action from the process studio. So we also told that we are not going to make use of the visual basic business objects directly. We are going to use it through the process. It is just one layer where we are where we are getting the functionality to interact with the applications. I'm taking attach here. Say okay. So let us connect these stages now. So all the stages were connected. Let me open the calculator. Reset it, refresh, reset, simply run it. The calculator has got attached. Now we can see that the buttons are being pressed and the result is shown there. Okay. So this is one example where we are simply getting familiarized with the concepts like what is an application modeler, how to attach a particular application to Blue Prism. These are the points we should remember. What we are learning is, one is how to make use of the application modeler, how to attach the elements of the application modeler, elements of the application to the application modeler. Okay. Then how to attach the application, how to terminate it. Let us try to use another or create another action in the Object Studio. I'm going to the Object Studio. Let us create a new action, new terminate. I'm calling it as. It will terminate the connection between the application and the blue prism. I'm just calling navigate, and in the navigate I'm taking the element, that is whole calculator as the element, and in the action say terminate. Okay, publish it and save the Object Studio. Terminate action is added to the Visual Business Object, VBO. Save changes. Let us add another action here. Here select your VBO, then select the action, terminate. Okay. Connect this. Now if I click reset and click on go, you can see this, it is attached. Now we are doing it. Failed to find the stage linked from stage start on the terminate. Okay, that is observe it in the Object Studio. So here I have not connected this. Okay, that was the error there. Let me connect all these stages. Then save it. Publish it. Save. Terminate action added to the VBO. Save changes. Go to the Process Studio, reset it, refresh. Refresh will refresh all the actions. That is because there was a change made in the action of the calculator 1. I need to click on the refresh button here. This refresh is going to update everything that was changed in the background also. Now reset simply and click on go. Before clicking on that, I just want to clear everything here. Say clear. Then click press go. Calculator attached. We can see the 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, and we can see that calculator is closed automatically. Okay, this is how we can connect to different or how we can interact with the different applications. So the main thing we should remember while interacting with the applications is application modeler. Then we can also see that, do we need to hard code every button like this? Is it required, or is there any other way to work on that? So when we look at this application modeler, when I think about the button 1, okay, so we need to check whenever you want to think of automating it, you need to clearly understand about the application. So here when I look at these different options here, you can see that UIA top level window, these buttons only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attributes were selected. So these 6 attributes are playing an important role in identifying the button. How is Blue Prism able to identify the button and click it? So it is identifying the button based on these 6 attributes. Okay. Now let us go to button 2 and look at the attributes there which are being used. So again, top level window ID, that is the whole calculator window maybe. UIA name, that is particularly button name. UIA item type, what is this type? Control type button, it is button. Class name button, UIA automation ID. So these different things we got. Let us compare these two buttons. When you look at the button 1 and button 2, what are the things that are changing here? Instead of X and Y position, all these things, let us forget about them, because that is not going to be constant all the time. If I change the size of the calculator, if I reduce the size of the calculator, these X and Y positions will change. Okay, that is not going to help us. Then what is going to help us? Let us look at button 1. You can see that UIA name is 1, button num1 button. Automation ID is num1 button. Let us look at this button 2, num2 button. So this ID may be helpful. It is varying from button to button. Let us click on addition. So automation ID plus button equals equal button. So let us try. You should be observing all the attributes and clearly identify which attribute is playing the role in what we say, that uniquely identifying this particular button. How is Blue Prism able to identify a particular button uniquely? That is very important here. Okay. Once we identify what is playing the major role in that, then we can simply click here. Here, if I think that automation ID is an important attribute, then simply say that, come to this button and click on match type. When I click on match type, you can see that is equal to equal, not equal. So we got regular expression and dynamic. You can select dynamic. So when we select dynamic, then you will get an option that you can equate the particular button to the button on the calculator using a particular variable. Instead of this particular num1 button 1, you can take these values and use them as variables. Let us try this. What I am trying to tell. So I am just removing this, put it equal now. Let me look at the button 1. For button 1, it is num1 button 1. Okay. Let us remember the names like that. I am coming to Process Studio. In the Process Studio, I am creating a particular data item. So data type, I am taking it as text. Call it as first number. Name of the data as first number, and initial value, this I am getting from the modeler. Let us look at the modeler. What is the initial value? Application modeler is telling us num1 button 1. Observe the case also very carefully, because it is case sensitive. Num1 button 1 is the name of the button 1. So here I am giving the value as num1 button 1. Before we do it in the Process Studio, let us check in the Business Studio itself. In the Object Studio, let us do one small change. Here I am calling it as dynamic for the button 1. Say apply. Okay. So I am coming to button 1. In the button 1, click on navigate. In the navigate, you can see params. So this is where you can pass the parameters. Go to the params. Okay. Here also let me create a particular data item. I got a data item here. For now, I'm giving a name. First number. Data type as text. And initial value as num1 button 1. Say OK. In the navigate, go to params. Okay. So here in the value, pass this first number. Say OK. Okay. What I did for the button 1 in the application modeler, I changed button 1 UIA automation mode as dynamic, because these UIA automation IDs are separate for all the unique for all the elements. We checked it. Once we confirmed they are unique, I am just trying it. So first number num1 button 1, I got it from that particular thing. Let me run this, reset it, open the calculator. Calculator has to be opened for this to work. Okay, then let me run this. It's showing an error. Failed to perform step 1 in the navigate stage. Navigate 1 on page. Button 1 not connected. So unable to connect to button 1. Okay. There was a problem there. So num1 button 1 is not able to identify this particular button. Num1 button. It is not button 1, num1 button it is simply. Okay, let me change this. Num1 button. Okay. Reset and run. Again not connected properly. Application modeler. Button 1. Num1 button. If it is not rating, if it was unable to identify the button with this attribute, then I need to choose another attribute. Showing an error still. We're trying dynamic option here. Let us look if there is any other attribute which is dynamic, which can be used to identify these buttons. UIN name, this is ID. ID should be dynamic, actually unique. So we should be making ID as unique. UIN name 2, ID is num2 button plus button equal button. All other values are same. This is equals. Okay, we can try either name or ID. Let us check in ID also. But once you are very sure that a particular attribute is unique, you can change the match type as dynamic and simply use it. We get arms. I'm not taking any value. Let me call it as 1. Okay. Let me run it. Reset. Run. Internal data items must be, text must be between. Okay. Params. Put it in quotes. Reset and run it. Button 2, params 1. Addition. name dynamic 1, we got it. Okay, there was some problem with my the way the attributes were being collected. So it is not directly connecting, but whenever you think of doing it dynamically, so what I would like to tell you is that look at the match type. In the match type, we got number of options. One is wildcard equal, and we can see also dynamic. Okay, you can go for dynamic, and when you are using this dynamic, think of a particular attribute which is unique to this button. That is, it should be changing from button to button. Only then we can separate or uniquely identify the buttons based on that particular dynamic attribute. Okay, that is one way we can easily connect to different buttons using this mechanism. Okay, so for now I just want to leave it as static, that is equals, instead of going for dynamic mechanism. So if you make something as dynamic only, you will have this option of going to parameters. If no particular attribute is made as dynamic, you cannot click the params button. This is not active. Okay, once you make a particular attribute as dynamic, that will be active. I just removed that dynamic and trying this. Button 2 not connected. Button 1, let me look at the application modeler. Button 1 dynamic, let us remove it and make it as equal. Button 2, okay, all others are equal, only apply. Okay, so this is button 1, reset, run it. Button 2, reset, run it. Attach. Okay, just everything got messed up, I think. Okay, this is one application on how you connect to a particular web-based, I mean desktop-based application. In case we want to go for a web-based application, again just create a new object. Do some description. I'm just trying to open this application. As I said, now there will be one action page where we need to create the action. This is going to tell how we are going to utilize it afterwards. We got this initialize and cleanup, which we need not touch at all. We are not going to make use of those things. Okay. If I think of creating a web-based application, then I need to decide on which particular browser we are using. It is a good idea to make use of Internet Explorer, because for Blue Prism, accessing Internet Explorer is quite easy from Blue Prism. Open the web page which you want to open. the Object Studio, I have already developed a web application which I want to show you. This is a simple application which actually opens a Facebook, which opens the Facebook page. So I got this start, then in the navigation I am putting this FB launch. So you can see that I got login and password, two buttons. When I say login, password, we need to enter the data. Here I am giving the FB application and I am calling the launch. This is the launch first one. Then we are using wait and timeout. Generally what happens is that when we are trying to connect to a web page, sometimes it may take some time. Okay, so when it takes some time, and if the next one is running, that is before this FB launch is finished, if writer one is running, okay, which is trying to write login in the text box, then what happens is that before the page is opened, when we are trying to write something, then there will be an error. So it is a good idea to make it wait for some time. Okay, so we are taking the wait stage here. In the wait stage, we will ask this to wait for some time. So it will be taken as 0 to 5 minutes. We are not worried about that. Just leave it as default. So how much time it has to wait, we need not worry about that. Okay, leave it as default. Then we are taking write process. Write process is used to write any data there. For example, I am taking this login as login ID as the attribute data type. This data item is to be written into the element login, and the type is text. Okay, that is what I am doing. After writing the login password, we are again waiting for some time. Again, writer 2, where we will write the password. Okay, password is another data item which I am using here, and we are going to write it. Then again wait for some time. Then we are telling navigate. In the navigate, we are just asking it to login. So there will be login button, click on that. So after you give the login and password, just click on the login button. Once you click on the login button, wait again for some time. It will open the Facebook page for us. Okay. That is how we can create a web application, a small example. Reset it. So it's trying to write. I have closed the web page. This is a small action which opens your Facebook page. Okay, let me run it again. So it is launching in both the browsers. So now it is opening in Edge. So if you want to do that manually, the procedure is that go to the navigate. So here what I'm doing is that initially open the application modeler because it is of type web application name. We are telling it as a web. Next, it is a browser based application. I am selecting Firefox, Edge, Chrome here, or you can simply select Internet Explorer. A browser which is already running. I just want to open it and leave it like that. So in case it doesn't open, I am asking it to open from the Internet Explorer.exe. Click on that and open it. Okay, all other things we are leaving it as default. Okay, this has got element 1. I need to identify different elements now. Just open Internet Explorer. So open the Facebook page. I think Edge was set as default. That is the reason it is going to Edge automatically. And that is the reason Facebook is not running. I mean, this application is not running properly. The application modeler, let me select this Edge Chrome browser which is already running. Enter the title of the target page. Chrome.exe, okay. Enter URL. This is the URL which I need to give. Okay, finish. So let me select an element. I need to identify the element. Before that, let me click attach. Now, let me select the element 1. The process is same. Just click on identify. So when I click on identify and go to this web page, you can see what is it identifying actually. Okay. When I click here, it is the whole window, which is something which I don't want. This is the whole window. I need this particular text box to be identified, then another text box to be identified. So just control click on that, control and click on that. That will be identified here. Click on this match to look at what are different attributes that were highlighted here. Okay. So this is element 1. Let me call it as login field. Right. So create another element, password field. Okay. So again, I need to identify that. Click on identify. Go control and click it. It is going to identify the password field. Apply. Then I need to identify the button now. So again, create another element. Call it as login button. After you click it, call it as login button. Again, click on identify. Control click this login button. That's going to be fetching the attributes of this button also. You got all the three things identified here: login field, password field, login button. Apply. Simply say OK. We need not work on that anymore. So now when we open our Blue Prism environment, go to the Object Studio. First of all, I want to click on the login. I want to write the login data there. So there should be some login data. What I'm doing is I am taking a data item. So in the data item, let us give the login information. Okay. So it is of type text. The login information is some mail ID. If there are any restrictions on opening your mail, then you need to take care of that. I'm taking another data item. This is for password. So I'm taking the password data type as password. Calling it as password there, data 1, data 2. These are the two things I require. So first of all, I need to write the login into the login box. So that was our first task. So what is that we are doing is taking the navigate button. So in the navigate, actually we need to open this particular page. Okay, we are assuming that it's already open. We need not worry about that. Okay, if we need to attach, then we need to attach it. I'm using navigate to attach. Then as I said, we need to wait for some time. So take this wait. Okay, we need to wait for some time. Then you will take write, which is going to write your login there. Okay, for now let us try only up to this point. I left wait time as default. Let us look at the navigate. What is this navigate going to do? We want this web page to be opened or attached. I'm telling that attach, or I can say I can ask launch such that the page will be opened. Okay, once the page is opened, it should wait for some time for the page to open. Then writer 1. In the writer 1, we got some value here. Okay, and type. So in this particular thing, what I want to do is that we need to write data 1 there. Okay, the value will be data 1. Element unknown element is there. Let the element be login field, type text automatically. The value is nothing but data 1. Okay, simply say okay there. That should write the login ID there. Let me try this. Reset. Reset, then try it. Navigate is showing an error, failed to perform navigate stage. Application already launched. Okay, it is already launched. I already opened it. This thing is not required in that case. Reset and run it. You can see this, the mail ID is written here. Okay, we were able to automate that. We were able to write the mail ID there. In the same way, I need to write the password here. For that, what I will do is that remove this particular link. Give it some time such that it can wait for the time taken to write the mail ID. We are asking it to wait for some time. Connect this to the wait stage, and again take another write message here. Connect these two. Okay, connect it to end. In this write again, what is that we are doing? this unknown element is nothing but the password field, put it there. Then the value is data 2. When you got data 2, everything is working well. What should happen? This data 2 should be written here. And here, let us also take another navigate button. In this navigate, let us connect this navigate to the end. And here, the element is login button. What is that I need to do? I need to click it. Click. Simply say OK. If you need to double click, click on double click. Okay, I'm removing this part. Just try to run it again. Reset, run. Okay, mail ID written here, password written, and it is opening another Facebook page. Okay, so this is one way we will automate everything. What is that we need to do is that we need to observe whatever we want to automate. We need to observe the elements, how use it to interact with that particular application. What are the elements we use to interact with that application? Okay, then try to represent them in the Blue Prism using the modeler, activity modeler. Okay, application modeler should be used to represent them. If you are able to represent them properly, then automatically the task will be automated. Okay, thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. If you have any queries, please you can ask now.
Participants, any queries? Sir, my heartful thanks to the resource person today, Dr. P. Sitaramut sir, for sharing their valuable information on Blue Prism automation and hands-on sessions. Thanking you very much, sir, for giving 3 sessions, for accepting our invitation to give the 3 sessions for our participants. Thank you. Your session is very useful for the participants, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dilip Kumar, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Within 10 minutes, we will start validatory function. 12:15 start. We will start the validatory function at the assessment test also we will start. Thank you. Already I will share the chat box in Google chat box. Attendance, today's attendance I will share Google form. Thanking you. Within 10 minutes, we will start the validatory function. Sitaram sir, thank you very much, sir.